Cummins, everything you need to know. Hello and welcome back to MIA Luxury Cars. For today's video, we will be going to talk about Cummins, everything you need to know. Let's get started. You now have all the information you require to become familiar with Cummins. A straightforward farmland named Clessie Lyle Cummins was born in Columbus, Indiana in 1888. His parents had various farming jobs. From an early age, Clessie worked on the family farm. Clessie was captivated by engineering and anything mechanical, and it appears that at the age of about 11, he built a steam engine. Clessie stopped school after finishing 8th grade in order to concentrate on the farm. A raiser named Ray asked Clessie to join his team as a mechanic when he was 23 years old. Ray was one of America's pioneer racers and set the Chicago to New York speed record in 1903 and 1904, making him a really well-known figure in those early days of racing. He must have been pretty good because he left the farm a few years later and started working as a mechanic full-time. Therefore, it means a lot that he chose Clessie for his team. Clessie's first task was to assist in racing teams and repairing the engine of his Marmon Wasp race vehicle, which is distinct from the Mormon wasp in that it is a wasp that resides in Utah, doesn't use alcohol, and has a lot of energy. A rear view mirror on the wasp completely eliminated the need for an onboard mechanic to inform Ray if someone was following him. The wasp was a custom-built racer with one of the first designs ever focused on aerodynamics. When the crew left for Indianapolis, Clessie assisted with minor modifications to the engine and vehicle. On May 30, 1911, Ray herself drove the Wasp to win the inaugural Indianapolis 500 with a little assistance from a child named Clessie Cummins, a farmland from Columbus. A diesel engine that had been imported by the Dutch engine manufacturer HVID caught Cummins's attention. Clessie was quite impressed with this technology. Rudolf Diesel created the diesel engine in the late 1800s. It was unique from other engines in that it ignited its fuel using the high temperature produced by intense compression, making it far more efficient than a steam engine. Unfortunately, it wasn't until Rudolph's mysterious death that the engine gained popularity. Clessie negotiated a license with the Hood Company to produce the engines in the US so he could sell them. A year later, in 1919, Clessie received funding to launch his own business and immediately established Cummins Engine Company. Initially, Cummins built diesel's engines for stationary uses like water pumps and other farm equipment, but Clessie had a wider vision for the diesel engine. He thought it might power things like tractors and even cars, which was kind of an avant-garde notion. In order to demonstrate that it was indeed possible, Cummins fitted a diesel engine into a 1926 Packard automobile and drove it over 800 miles to New York City, averaging 26 miles per gallon. Clessie would do it behind the wheel of a diesel-powered cargo truck in 1931. Cummins carefully modified a truck to accept one of his engines and got on the road. Plus, he had a team of guys with him. The next drive would be a little over 800 miles. General Motors held in New York to LA speed record with their gas engine, completing the wide and 103 hours and 59 minutes Clessie wanted to beat. Our vehicles might have gone faster. The Cummins was more effective, so it didn't need to stop for fuel as frequently. So he turned off the truck and gasped. However, as the brakes failed, the engine overheated and the freaking cabin caught fire. Nevertheless, the Cummins completed the journey in 97 hours and 20 minutes, beating GM by 6 hours and 39 minutes. Additionally, the following year in a Phrygian bust, he completed the journey 6 hours more quickly, reaching speed of 65 miles per hour. This was especially noteworthy since, in the days before the interstate system existed, the Cummins completed the journey more quickly than a train could. This Clesi was demonstrating the viability of diesel, but he wasn't finished. He returned to his roots and brought some diesel-powered race cars with him. The first instance was in 1931, when Duesenberg with a Cummins engine swapped out finished near the back of the field, but completed the entire 500-mile race without stopping. The following 20 years until finally, in 1952, the Cummins-powered number 28 diesel special qualified on the front row. The car produced over 340 horsepower from its J-series engine, which has been specially modified so that it could run on inside the sitting sideways car. This brought the car's center of gravity closer to the ground and improved its handling. The diesel special was the first turbocharged car to race at Indianapolis and set a record for an average speed of just under 100 mph. The team discovered that in addition to air, the turbo was also sucking in a ton of rubber, which is what caused the car to break down. Despite the loss, the diesel special brought Cummins a ton of notoriety. But it was the last time a diesel car ever competed in Indy. J. Irwin took over when Clesi Cummins left the company in 1955, and under his leadership, the company grew quickly. In 1956, Cummins opened a factory in Scotland, and by the 1960s, they had established themselves in 98 countries. Miller was so well liked at this point that Esquire magazine suggested that he run for president in 1968. By this point, Cummins was a dominant force in the diesel industry. Their engines were used in everything from commercial cargo trucks and heavy. Dodge felt a little left out when Ford and Chevy started to dominate the pickup truck market in the late 1970s. They required something that would establish them as leaders in the truck industry and leave a lasting impression. By the middle of the 1980s, Dodge pickup trucks were the only ones on the market without a diesel engine. Chevy had introduced the technology first in 1978, Ford in 1983, and Dodge had not yet. Dodge had to do that, and fortunately for them, Cummins was developing a medium-duty engine called the B-Series and seeking for a truck to install it in the US. There are 4 different duty categories for trucks. Light, which is your normal pickup like a Ram 150. Then there's medium, which dualies typical fall under. Then heavy, which can be box trucks and semis. Then there's super heavy, which are basically semis on steroids. In 1989, they made it official when Dodge unveiled the Cummins-powered Ram. This truck had a 5.9-liter 6BT straight 6 engine that produced 160 horsepower and 400 foot-pounds of torque, which was unheard of in the truck industry. Because Cummins is a leader in the diesel industry, people freaked out. This much power was made possible by air because both Ford and Chevy's diesels were naturally aspirated. Because they lacked turbos, they were unable to pack all the lovely, sweet air that the engines were in need of. The 6BT weighed over 1,100 pounds by 1996. The 6BT was making a mean 200 HZ. And in 2003, Cummins updated the engine with a new 24-valve head. The B-Series also had a little secret. It wasn't designed for pickups. Instead, Cummins had really designed it for medium commercial use, meaning it was over-engineered for the Ram. But that came at a cost. The engine block was made of cast iron and had to be extremely. Finally, in the model year of 2007 and a half, Cummins unveiled a newer, larger engine called 6.7. The behemoth made 350 horsepower and 650 Turks. Cummins continued to raise the bar, and the current 6.7 now produces 365 horsepower, which is a horse for every day of the year from January 1 to December 31. You never ride the same horse twice. Cummins passed away in 1968 V8, but his legacy lives on in every truck with a Cummins under the hood. This isn't just limited to Rams anymore, as in 2017, the Nissan Titan XD was offered with a 310 horsepower Cummins V8 turbo diesel. This is absurd as people are beefing up their trucks and taking it to the drag strip, even their Cummins power truck that ran 9-second quarter, breaking the long-standing exclusivity agreement between Cummins and Ram and providing consumers with more delicious Cummins diesel options. For decades, drivers have seen the power of Cummins, and now they can get it in something other than a Dodge. A man from the Midwest founded Cummins because he wanted to follow his passion and create the greatest products he could, and in the process, he completely overtook the industry. He committed to his principles even when others weren't doing it, or even aware that it was what they wanted. What have you learned about our topic? Please let me know by leaving a comment below. And if you enjoy this video, please press the like button, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thank you for stopping by to watch. See you in our next video.